All right, so we're going to look at 5, 6 today, and we're going to talk about the final type of equation that we can see when graphing lines. And this one has a lot of similar parts to slope-intercept form. This one is called point-slope form. And if you are maybe trying to make some connections here, slope-intercept, we knew the slope of the line and we knew the intercept of a line. So as you can probably guess, we know the slope of this line, that's our m. So m is still slope. And we also know a point on the line. So this x1, y1 is the point on the line, okay? So what you have is what equation you should go into. So if I want to write an equation in point slope form, given a slope, which we know is m, and given a point, we can label that point my x1, y1. Then I can just plug everything directly into the formula. So we leave this y and this x alone. We also automatically put minus signs. Just like with our slope formula, they have minus signs here. So if I just want to put this into the equation, I would write y minus automatically, no matter what. Then the y1 value comes from the y value of the point that you're given, which is 5. So we would write y minus 5 equals, then I would put my m, or my slope. The slope of this line is 1/2. So I put that next. And then parentheses, x minus my x1 is next. My x1 is that first number out of my ordered pair, which is 4. And there would be my answer in point slope form. The next set of my directions, though, say then convert to slope intercept form, because what we will find is that this doesn't really get us anywhere, right? I have parentheses, I don't have y fully solved for, it doesn't really look the best. This is just kind of the starting point. This is if I don't know the y-intercept and I know a point instead, rather than having to do a really long process of trying to figure out what the y-intercept is. Now I can go straight to that. So here's how we solve for y. It's a two-step process. The first thing that you want to do is distribute, and let me maybe do that in a different color here, which is why we did that for the warm-up today. So distributing, I take the number on the outside and multiply it on the inside. So I'm going to rewrite that y minus 5 equals. We're not dealing with that yet. 1/2 times x is just 1/2 x. And then 1/2 times -4. You can either type that in, or really anything being multiplied by a half is the same thing as dividing it by 2. So that's -4 divided by 2, which is -2. And then your second step is to add or subtract whatever is next to the y, right? My goal is y equals. This is y minus 5 equals, so we got to move that minus 5 away. So I can add 5 to both sides, and here's where we have to be very picky. Notice how I'm adding this 5 to the constant at the end. I can't add it to the x, so it cannot go right here, because we know we can't combine an x and a number. So I get y, those 5's cancel, equals 1/2 x, and then -2 plus 5 is +3. And there would be my answer in y equals mx plus b form. So now I can also know that this line has a slope of 1/2, and its y-intercept is 3. And I also know this point on the line. So I know 3 things about this line, which is good. And so that's all we're doing today is that process. So let's try that again a couple times with a bunch of different situations so we can kind of see what's going on here. So the first thing that I want to do is just plug everything into the formula. So I will write that one more time. Y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1. Okay, and so if I want to label that point, I can as well. This is my x1, y1. So I can say y minus my y1 is 2. Okay, 2. That's equal to m. It tells me m, or the slope, is -3. Parentheses, x minus my x1 is 2. And there we go. So that's the first step. The second step is to solve this. So we go through that two-step process. The first step is always to distribute. So I'm going to multiply the -3 inside the parentheses. So we get y minus 2 equals -3x. You'll find that this is always the case. You're always, that first round of distributing here, you're just going to multiply and squish the number and the variable next to each other, because it's always a 1x there, right, from my formula. But what you got to multiply is this -3 times the -2, which is a +6. And then my second step is to move the minus 2 away from the y to get y by itself. So the opposite of minus 2 is to add 2. So we get y, 2's cancel, equals negative 3x. 6 plus 2 is 8. And there's my answer. Okay, so the next one. Same thing. We get y equals, y minus, even I'm already going too fast here. So I'll write that one more time. Okay, so we get y minus if we want to label this, y1 is 2 right here, y value from the ordered pair. That's equal to m. M is a fraction, 1/2, times, and then we have x minus x1. My x1 is negative 6. So I like this one because we have a minus from the formula, but I also have a negative in my variable there, or my number here. So I have to do the same thing that we did for slope. I have the minus and an extra negative, which we know turns into a positive. So that is the only thing that people get messed up on here, is we sometimes forget to add in that extra negative. So when I distribute, I'm really taking, we're going to copy down that y minus 2, I'm really going to take the 1/2 x and the 1/2 times a positive 6. Remember, multiplying by 1/2 is the same thing as dividing by 2, so that's 3. So then the next thing is we want to add 2 to both sides, so I get y equals 1/2 x, 3 plus 2 is 5, and there's my answer. Okay, so this next one, I like this one because we have a 0 in my ordered pair. That's fine. So I'm just going to plug in like normal. So we have y minus. My y1, that last number here in my ordered pair, is 0. That's equal to m, which is 2, times x minus. My x1 is another negative 1. So I have the negative from my formula and the negative from the ordered pair. So we can turn that into a plus. And so at this point, y minus 0 just goes away. So I could just write y equals. So if you notice you have a 0 in your ordered pair, that actually helps you out. That's one less operation that you have to do. Now I just need to multiply that 2, and that will finish the problem. So 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 1 is positive 2, and I'm already solved for y, so I don't even have to do anything else. Okay. If you're listening, here's your chance for bonus. So in the homework assignment posted for this, I have, I want you to put a comment of who you think is going to win the Super Bowl this year. The choices are the 49ers or the Kansas City Chiefs. So whatever you think, put that in the comments for some bonus. Okay. So then let's go ahead and start this last one. So we have y minus, my y1 is negative 3. So it doesn't matter. This time I had the negative right here. That's okay. Still a minus in the formula, and we have that extra negative. That's equal to m. M is 1/4 times x minus, my x1 is 12. And so this turns into a positive. So this is really y plus 3 equals, and then I can distribute. 1/4 times x is 1/4 x. 1/4 times negative 12, you may need to type that in, or 1/4 is the same thing as dividing by 4. So negative 12 divided by 4 is negative 3. And then I can subtract 3 from both sides. So we get y equals 1/4 x minus 6. And there would be your answer, okay? Let's say that this was a plus 3. You would get nothing here, and that's fine. So sometimes this spot will cancel out. You can get 0. That's okay. I think you may find one of those on the homeworks. So I don't know if she's passed out the homework yet. I told her to wait a little bit. But you can be working on the homework. That is due on Thursday. Tomorrow we will be doing some more classwork. So let me know if you have any questions, but please be working on that homework. And again, don't forget about that bonus opportunity of commenting. Thank you guys for listening, and there will be another video for what you're doing tomorrow.